Hi everyone, my name is Steve Bell and this is For the Journey This Week. Today I'm going to sing you a brand new song I wrote yesterday. I plundered a poem of Malcolm Guite's for the song, and you might think it's a little risky to sing a song publicly the day after I write it, but this isn't live, and so if you're seeing this, it means I must have done it okay. So I'm happy for a new song and thrilled to sing it for you. So I have a brand new song that I'm happy to sing for you. Normally when I write a new song, I get to go out on the road and I get to sort of try it out in front of audiences, and that's why I kind of learned to know my own song. Often these songs come and sometimes you sort of have an idea what it is, but the more I talk about it, the more I sing, the more I come to know it. I don't know how to explain that. It's like having your own kid. You have a child, and the child is from you and through you, but it also has its own independent life, and you need to come to know this one that is of you. And it eventually becomes independent of you as well, and has its own friendships and relationships and stories quite independent of you, and so that's the process. I missed the chance to go out on the road and do that work, but at least I can do this for now. Let me give you a little bit of the history of the poem that inspired the song. The poem is called First Steps by Malcolm Guite, my English poet friend, who I've done a lot of work with over the years. The guy has given me at least a decade more of songs that I probably would have had. At a time of my life when I sort of felt like I was running out of things to say, I discovered Malcolm Guite, and I've been he's inspired and given me lots to say since. So here's another one, and I'm going to read you the poem first, and then I'll sing you the song. Malcolm wrote it years ago after he had an accident. He broke his leg, and it was a bad break, and it ended up meaning he had to spend the winter inside because he was on 2 crutches. And that would be very hard for him if you know him. And he says, "For many of us, winter is dark and difficult. It was particularly so for me in the winter of last year as I coped with a broken leg. This poem, written to celebrate my first walk outdoors after the accident, alludes to Psalm 51, the great Lenten penitential psalm, with its prayer to make me to hear of joy and gladness, that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice." So here's the poem. I'll read you the first 2 stanzas because that's what I plundered from my song. This is the day to leave the dark behind you. Take the adventure. Step beyond the hearth. Shake off at last the shackles that confined you, and find the courage for the forward path. You yearned for freedom through the long night watches. The day has come and you are free to choose. Now is the time and season. Companioned still by your familiar crutches, and leaning on the props you hope to lose, you step outside and widen your horizon. After the dimly burning wick of winter that seemed to dull and darken everything, the April sun shines clear beyond your shelter and clean as sight itself. The reed birds sing as heaven reaches down to touch the earth and circle her, revealing everywhere a lovely, longed-for blue. Breathe deep and be renewed by every breath, kinned to the keen east wind and cleansing air, as though the blue itself were blowing through you. It's a beautiful poem. It resonates a lot for me, coming out of my own winter, maybe for you as well. Malcolm writes, "I include the poem here because the experience it describes seems to correspond with a real experience on most people's spiritual journey, a moment when vision is renewed, new possibilities become apparent, even though we are still hobbled by our brokenness. That renewal is what gives us the courage to push on through the pain, in a strange and paradoxical combination of effort, grace, and freedom." Okay, here we go. This is the day to leave the dark behind you. take the adventure, step beyond the hearth. Shake off at last the shackles that confined you, and find the courage for the forward path. You yearned for freedom through the long night watches. The day has come, and you are free to choose, to set aside your still familiar crutches, to step into the lovely longed for blue. After the dimly burning wick of winter that seemed to dull and darken everything, the Lenten sun shines clear beyond your shelter, clean as sight itself, while the reed birds sing as heaven bows to kiss creation's surface, as light surrounds and glimmers on the dew. You pause to pray the holy saints preserve us, and step into the lovely longed for blue. Breathe deep and be renewed by what you're breathing, kin to the keen east wind and the cleansing air, as though the blue itself were blowing through you, as though you always knew you'd find it there. For all you know, the aching of the ages awaits the blessed courage of the few that join the company of pilgrim sages, that step into the lovely longed for blue. For all you know, the aching of the ages awaits the blessed courage of the few that join the company of pilgrim sages, that step into the lovely longed for